YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video. All right guys, so today we're gonna transition things back to the traditional television discussion. Okay, we're gonna talk about Samsung S90C versus LG G3. Now this content that I shoot and the way that I shoot my content is meant to be more vlog style, and it's in chronological order, so you're supposed to be able to track back. If you didn't see the video yesterday, we unboxed and did a review of this. There's going to be much more content coming in the space of this with me sharing my opinion. This is a very great option. This is LG's white OLED with MLA technology. It actually does have it's not as bright as the G3, but not expected to be, but this is awesome. So check that out. Let me know how I did on that review. But yeah, today I want to talk a little bit about the S90C, which I've got right here, versus the G3, which I have on the other side of it. We're going to go into some comparisons and me just kind of giving you guys my opinion, because the TVs are priced differently, but I think they both have some great offerings. We're going to talk about that right after this intro. All right, guys, so timestamps down below for this particular discussional video. I'm going to just set the expectations right now and let you guys know what you should expect. I'm going to attempt to put this large monitor just down below so it can be out of the way. And I'll adjust the exposure and everything with the camera so that the images are not looking so overblown with these two TVs that are behind me. But within this video, what I'd like to discuss is going to be my own personal opinion when it comes down to these two technologies, because I believe in order for you as a consumer to be able to make a wise decision, you have to understand the differences and the potential differences between these two, because the technologies are really night and day. Although you can adjust these TVs to get a very similar grade and quality of picture, you know, you end up with an aesthetic with one that's just going to be different than the other. So what do I mean? What I mean is typically colors are going to have more saturation potential on the quantum dot OLED just in general. And, you know, on the MLA, things like the white, they're going to come out to be more pure and less pinkish. I was asked a question about S95C, if maybe the whites looked really pink in person, and I think they I know for a fact that they are less pink than the S90C, but in any event, I'm going to go ahead and get some similar content on these things so we can discuss these two panel technologies. All right, so let's talk about the obvious and one of the most important colors that is going to definitely separate these TVs. Now, with me spending more time with the TV on the right, which is the LG G3, the white is nice and crispy and pure. You will see more of a pinkish tint. The viewfinder on the camera that I'm using at this exact moment, I'm not sure how much it's exaggerating it. You know, in person, the left doesn't look necessarily more pink. It just doesn't look as pure. And, you know, maybe the camera is picking up that true eye of what it's seeing. I'll have to see how the footage looks. You know, looking at like the purples and the greens and the reds and the things like that. When you focus on like the top left that says purchase full version, by the way, this is a demo, this isn't a crack. You know, that color just, it pops so much on the QD-OLED. You know, I personally just love the way that type of color looks. It's just my preference. What do you guys think? All right, I just want to kind of briefly talk about some shadow details. You know, if you've ever heard anyone say anything about the LG G3 having a more of a 3D look, it is absolutely true. I don't know what it is that makes it, you know, look like stuff is just jumping off the screen a little bit. It's actually a new experience for me. As I've said before, I spent intimate time with the G2, but did not share it because I never owned that TV. And I've owned the C2, the C1, the CX, the C9, you name it, I didn't have it. you name it, I done had it, man. But this TV invites me to a different type of a punch when it comes to pictures. So what am I talking about? I'm focusing more just on the lettering. When I'm looking at Fighting Ground, the Fighting Ground looks like it's literally kicking off the screen. And you know, I really think what it is I think the black detail, the shadow detail on the G3 is just phenomenal. Because when I really think about it, whenever I'm seeing something and I think of it just jumping off the screen, it typically has something to do with like the outline of whatever the image is that I'm looking at. Whatever it might be, processing magic or whatever the case is, it does a great job of that. And it doesn't make the 90C not look good, but it damn sure makes the G3 look like a guaranteed winner when you're looking at them side by side, which most people won't. The thing to keep in mind is the price difference with these TVs. You're talking $700. Based on what you're seeing so far, do you feel that one is worth $700 over the next? Obviously, that being the G3. In this size class that I have is $2,600, and the S90C coming in at about $1,800, $1,900. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go to the next transition. All right. You know, when it comes to TV audio, right now I've got the S90C turned up. I'm not using the best microphone right now, but what I'm going to tell you is that personally, I could care less about the audio on the speakers. Honestly, I could. The LG does have some nice options when it comes down to like custom presets. I think they have the more variety, but I think the quality of the actual speakers do sound better on the S90C in my opinion. The S95B have really good speakers, and I don't even want to begin to talk about the 95C because it's supposed to be the claim to fame, but if you guys have seen my content, I will card it in right now. When I initially got that TV, it was dented and didn't feel good, and I think based on how they've designed their audio system on the 95C, it doesn't, you know, physically make the TV the way that it should feel. In any event, I don't know. I feel like, you know, if you get one of these TVs, I would personally recommend that you invest into some quality headphones, a sound bar, an audio video receiver, because no TV set speakers really impressed me. However, between the two, the S90C for sure got it. My opinion, though.
Let us begin. This is
Yeah, I think both of them do a great job of handling motion and things like that, especially when it comes down to gaming. Now, keep in mind, guys, I've already told you, if you followed the channel, you know this is a gaming setup for me. I've got RTX 4090 on both of these. One of the opportunities that the S90C has that's going to be over the G3 is that it does feature a 144 hertz refresh rate. This is something that I'm gonna just use the coin tested, that it tested last year with the S95B, but it's full in effect on the S90C. You know, one thing that 144 will do is disable you from being able to do QHD. I've got my S90C and my S95C both set to 144 hertz. And so, you know, that's exactly what my TV is going to do. So QHD is not going to be an opportunity that comes up. It's just not possible. If you try to do 144 hertz and QHD, you try to force it in some kind of way through a game. We're not talking about any kind of custom settings. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. You get this funky, weird aspect ratio, whereas so that's not a problem with 120 hertz. The G3 right now on the right, what we have that's still playing, it's gonna max out at 4K 120. That's kind of what they focused on. Doesn't look like they're really trying to test the water with going behind that with a higher refresh rate. And that's totally fine because the 120 works. You know, it just plays out really well. So, you know, depending on if you're playing on a console or a higher end gaming PC like what I got a 12900K with the 4090 on my G3 and a 13900K with a 4090 on my S90C. In any event, either of those configurations or any of the higher end PC or gaming consoles, PS5, Xbox Series X, you know, you're gonna have an enjoyable experience. You know, like I said earlier in a couple of transitions ago, you got that picture pop that just kicks through, ends up making the LG G3 look really sharp. You know, to me, it lacks the ability to punch colors the same way, but you know what it excels in, it does it really, really good. So just looking at things like this, the blackness, you know, just the blacks look really nice and deep. And then the brightness with the white just kicks through, man, and it just looks amazing. All in all, they both do gaming really well. So let me know what you guys think about this transition here. All right, so I'm definitely not the gatekeeper of a definitive review. And so that's why the way that I shoot my content, I like for it to be in kind of short bursts. You know, as I experience things, I like to share it. I like to open up the forum for us to be able to discuss, because I know a lot of people are not going to have both of these displays. People are, you know, as of recent, more interested in like the C1, the C3, not the C1, the C3 versus the G3. And so I think that's a great opportunity. You know, what it is that the S90C does for me is that it offers me, honestly, a better first impression. Outside of that initial pop that I got from the 95B, it was all of the issues on the back end that I had. And so I've fallen into this weird place where I feel like I'm kind of overly promoting this TV, and people aren't going to be as interested in it because, you know, it doesn't offer you the same kind of wow factor that the 95B does. The only thing is, when you see the 95C, it also doesn't jump and push you to that, but it's the technology that I'm really, really invested into, this QD technology. Now, the G3 also offers us some new stuff, and this is a generation 1 tech. And now, guys, I'm a 2-time MLA panel owner, because the ultra wide that we reviewed yesterday on the channel, you know, you guys got to check that out. And honestly, in my review, I was saying that it didn't have MLA. Well, after doing the research and reading some good comments, it actually does. It doesn't generate the same kind of brightness. And now I get it. It makes sense. Like, the science behind it isn't just that if you have MLA that you're just going to have this radically brighter panel. Like, the actual technology and the heat sink and everything need to work in perfect harmony, like the G3 does, to project the whites to be the way that they are. I digress. It's new technology. The QD-OLED is now generation 2 technology. And so we've got this weird space where, again, I'm just bringing this content to you so that you can have some type of, I don't know, assistance if you're making a decision. How much do you want to spend for a new TV? Some of you guys are probably still going to go after S95B. The only reason I wouldn't recommend that TV is just because I don't like the way that it was presented. And I feel like, you know, it was under construction through where we wanted it to be. I do see the 90C to be a more redefined package out of the box. I love the way it looks. I think, you know, with some proper tweaking, you can get an amazing picture. And, you know, that it has some brute force potential with it also, by way of like gaming functionalities and things like that. I want to know what you guys think about this video. This is just a comparison. We can get some more made. If there's some things I didn't cover that you might be interested in talking about, let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed the timestamps. And if you want to support the channel, definitely check out the options. We got the thanks button, we got the share button, we got the like, we got the comment section. All of those things help right now. Later we'll begin some other things to open up the gate where if people want to support me to grow some more, we can do that. We're on the road to 10K. That's what we're working on. So if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you are, go ahead. Like I said, support, share this, get it to some other people. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. Peace, God bless. And as I always say, max love.